I'm usually focused on other things. Anyways, let's start this beautiful holiday off with a little bit of patience, a little candle, a little quiet. It's going to be okay. I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert, shiatsu massage therapist, and I specialize in helping women in narcissistic and toxic relationships. I teach you how to be smarter. I teach you how to be wiser. I teach you how to control your own body. I get rid of the emotional triggers that keep you from making the good choices. You already know what to do most times. It's just being able to do it. That's always been my problems with spiritual philosophy. Is they tell you what to do, but they don't give you practical application of how to do it, except for something that will take a very long time. It's quite frustrating. So today we're talking about how to outwit a narcissist. So typically, a narcissist, someone behaves in a very narcissistic way when they're emotionally hijacked, when something has triggered them. And most people live in that state of emotional hijacking most of their life. And when it lasts a couple hours, it's considered a mood. When it lasts a couple weeks or months, it's considered a temperament. And when it lasts a lifetime, it's considered a personality trait. But in reality, that's not who any of us is. When we act like narcissists, and yes, you act like narcissists at times too. When we act like narcissists, it's because our brain is not regulated. It means that our nervous system is firing like popcorn and making us feel kind of stressed out. That we've got old emotions and old beliefs that need to be processed through. Now, in the past, the thing is that most spiritual philosophies and most spiritual practices were looking at dealing with these things over a lifetime. It took a lifetime in order to heal these wounds, a lifetime in order to become whole. And if you didn't come from a good family, pretty much you were going to spend your entire life just coping and dealing and trying to heal, which is sort of a ridiculous way to live, where you're always 2 steps behind. But if you didn't come from a good childhood, if you didn't come from a good upbringing, or if things went wrong or there were traumas, you don't have to spend your entire life trying to heal yourself. There's actually a turning point. So you're in a relationship with someone who's dysregulated, who uses all sorts of tools and tactics to make themselves feel better, and they make you feel dysregulated too. They make your brain pop around like popcorn, where you feel anxious or upset. And maybe it looks like checking out, maybe it looks like procrastinating, maybe it looks like overeating, maybe it looks like getting angry. And a narcissist is able to bring out your deepest, darkest secrets. If you want to know more about all these deep, dark secrets, if you want to know more about all the ways that a narcissist uses to manipulate you, stay to the end of the video and I'll tell you how to find my entire library of all of my live streams, and so you can bone up and get educated. So watch for it at the end. So, okay, one of the interesting things about someone having a dysregulated brain, they're actually not as smart as they think they are. So many people who act like narcissists, one of their traits is that they can be very smart. They can be very intelligent. And they'll tell everyone how intelligent they are. And they'll tell everybody how amazing they are. And yes, there's an insecurity underneath it. But the insecurity is because they know that they can't get a handle on things. They know that feeling good is a slippery slope. And so there's always an insecurity about feeling good. And one of the ways that they cover it up is that they focus on how smart they are, or how intelligent they are. Now, the problem with this is when someone is in fight or flight, and that's what it is when your brain's popping like popcorn like that. When someone's in fight or flight, their IQ actually goes down. They're a lot less smarter. Oh, whoops, my candle went out. They're a lot less smarter than they think they are. They're a lot less smart than they could be. And so even if someone as, a child scored high on any sort of exams, it doesn't mean that they're smarter than you. It just means that they think they're smarter than you. And they're trying to convince you that they're smarter than you. And when they keep you stressed out, just like politics lately, just like people have been exploiting and capitalizing on this pandemic, there will always be narcissists. There will always be people who take advantage of things. And when they do that, they really just aren't as smart as they think they are. How do you get above this? How do you get smarter than a narcissist? You learn how to regulate your nervous system. So we live in a world where people are constantly on the edge of freaking out, constantly on the edge of stressed out. They're overwhelmed. They don't know how to handle it. And what happens is everybody's in that low level of tension. Everybody's in that low level of stress. And they behave from that place. They behave from the place of fear. They behave from the place of anger, hurt, or anxiety, which was way in the past. Now, most spiritual leaders will say, well, you need to start a spiritual practice. If you want to become healthy and whole, you need to start a spiritual practice. And it will probably take you years. You're going to have to work very hard, and you're never going to get ahead. So you might as well just suck it up and deal with what you're dealing with and, assume life isn't going to get better. That's kind of what I always read into spiritual practices, like, oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for 4 or 5 hours a day to do X, Y, Z. I just didn't. Got too many personalities, too many people around. But when you take the time and regulate your nervous system, you will get out of your own state of fight or flight. It means that you will become smarter than you've been. It means that now you're not just working from an ego place, which someone is working from when they're angry or hurt or overwhelmed or frustrated. When they're working from an emotional place of being out of ease, out of balance, you can't think clearly. And your head brain is not talking to your heart brain, and it's not talking to your gut brain. They're not talking to each other. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could have 3 brains to work off of instead of just one? Most narcissists are just working off of 1. Maybe they're working off of 2, their head and their gut, but they're probably not working off of their heart. And the heart is the main brain that's in the body. It's measurable, it picks up information all the time, and it actually regulates the head brain and the gut brain. It's kind of the central processing unit, and then it sends information where it needs to go. So narcissists, because they're only in a place of stress or fight or flight inside themselves, their internal state is stressed out, they're only working from 1 brain, their head brain, and they think that that's the only brain that exists. And they think that they're smarter than everybody else because they're logical or more rigid in their thinking, or they are able to absorb or spit back more information. But they're not creative. They're not necessarily really innovative. Although I want to have a caveat for that. Many geniuses are also narcissists, but they could be really innovative. They could be really creative. They could really think outside the box way more than they are if they regulated their nervous system, if they calmed themselves down instead of just left themselves in a place of stress and frenzy all the time. They can go to great heights, but they can't really put it all together very well. It's when you start to put together your head brain and your heart brain and your gut brain that you become smarter than pretty much everybody around you. Because if everybody else is working on a low level of stress, they're only using their ego brain. And if you start to calm yourself down and keep your nervous system level, you're working with your head brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain. And believe you me, it means that you don't have that emotional hijacking anymore. It means that you're not getting distracted by your frustration or your irritation or your aggravation. It means that you're not trying to control the stress and keep yourself from freaking out. Means that you're not ignoring things. You're able to stand up and see the truth very clearly and not get upset about it. Basically, when you learn how to regulate your nervous system, you learn how to regulate your emotions. You don't just learn how to control them or keep them under wraps or suppress them. You actually get rid of all the wounds and the pain that causes you to flip over there in the first place. And so you start to live your life in a place of alignment, in a place where you're using all 3 of your brains, which means that you've got more information, which means that you can think clearer, which means that you make better decisions, which means that at the end of the day, you will outwit every single narcissist that ever exists, because they are working from a place of fight or flight, almost always. And you will start working from a place of being regulated. Your body will get healthier. You'll turn on different genes so that many chronic challenges can be minimized or gotten rid of. You see the solutions to problems easily, and you don't freeze up, and you don't get hijacked, and you don't get controlled by a narcissist's many moods. When you start to connect all the resources that you really have, you're able to move forward. Now, if you want to catch up on all of this great new body-mind science information and how you can use it in your life and not just hope and pray and, put your head down and work harder. If you want to actually learn how you work, then go to my YouTube channel. I've been collecting all of these live streams for decades. So you want to go to YouTube and just type in Rita Hickman, Narcissist. And what you'll find is you will find hundreds, I think something like 700 videos. I've been doing this for a while. And you can catch up and you can get an idea of how you work and who you are and what you can do about it and how to come into alignment. So if you'd like to go down the fast track, go to YouTube, type in Rita Hickman, Narcissist, and you will find a whole backlog of information to get up to speed. And my suggestion would be is that you watch as many as you can, because once you start listening to them and using the tools, your life starts to immediately change, many times in seconds, because it's not about changing your belief. Your belief naturally changes when your head is no longer alone. When your head finally has information from your heart and your gut, your thoughts naturally change. Your emotions naturally change. And you're able to stay grounded and centered no matter how bad the situation is, no matter how much they're yelling at you. So, okay, YouTube, Rita Hickman, Narcissist, catch up on all the videos, and you will start to realize that you are not as helpless as you thought you were. Lots and lots of tools. And since we're working in an integrative sort of field, a way of how we integrate you and help you become whole, everything else in your life gets better too. Not just your narcissist relationship, but everything. That's the state you're supposed to be in. You're supposed to be in a state of everything working together like an orchestra playing for 1,000 people. That's who you are. And right now, if you're stressed out and in fight or flight, it means that you're just like the narcissist, only pretending that you aren't and trying not to be so emotionally hijacked all the time. You can win. Go watch the videos. You can do this. All right? Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.